Don't you hate it when your former mentor and close friend suddenly regains his ability to walk and then decides that now is a great time for me to retire and I want you to take over the school for me? But then the school gets blown up again. And the Board of Education is like, we won't let you reopen because the school can only be blown up so many times before it's deemed unsafe for education. Or whatever. So now you have to open your own school from scratch with the help of your friend / former student / ex-girlfriend. But you literally feel so inadequate and undeserving of this job because you were literally everyone's least favorite teacher. And you're also an alcoholic with major PTSD? Yeah, well, that's what happened to Wolverine. That's right, Wolverine is opening up a new school for Teenage Mutant superheroes. This series follows Logan and his epic teaching staff as they do their very best to raise and teach the world's next generation of X-Men. If only those X-Men would get along, because as of right now, they really just hate one another. But despite how often they actively bully each other, and ignoring the surprising amount of them who have tried to take over the world, they do have one thing in common. When their school is in trouble or threatened, no matter by who, sociopathic middle schoolers, aliens, or even ex-X-Men, they'll do anything to save it. Just like the age-old X-Men saying goes, a family that fights the Avengers together stays together. So I really loved this series, and I'm also so sick and tired of editing comic book panels, so you're going to see my face for a minute, bear with me. Yeah, the storyline was really fun, the characters were even more fun. This series came out during a time where most X-Men comic books and most Marvel comic books were like really dark and grim and kind of sad. So this one was really nice, especially following Wolverine, whose story is usually really sad. This one brought in a lot of lighthearted and like campy feel that the original X-Men series had, that I think that we had been missing until this point. So it was just really fun to read, and I really enjoyed it as a fan. But even if I wasn't already an X-Men fan, I think I would really like this story too. It was really easy to follow. It's great if you've never read a comic book before, but even if you had, like me, you're still gonna love it and have a great time with it. Because it's a comic book series, it does bounce between different authors. So the two main writers for this one were Jason Aaron and Chris Bachalo. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right at all. So even though it switched between different writers, I honestly couldn't tell. The storyline was pretty consistent, and it just flowed really seamlessly between them, which was really cool. When I first read this, I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars, but as I was going back and rereading parts of it, I kind of want to give it a 5 out of 5 stars, just in my opinion. It was so much fun. It made me laugh so hard. It made me laugh. It made me want to cry at some times. I was just so invested in these characters, and it was just really fun. So I think I'd give it a 5 out of 5 stars. So if you do read this series and you like it, particularly the lightheartedness, the fun, campy bits, some of the dark humor, and it just made you laugh a lot, then I definitely recommend checking out the Uncanny X-Men, especially the earlier books. I know they're really old, but they still have that. They have that same type of humor and flow, like theme about them, I guess. So if you liked that, then try those. They just have a very similar atmosphere and setting and plot line, so those are pretty good to check out. If you liked the grimmer, darker parts, especially anything about Logan or Wolverine and his past or anything like that, then definitely check out the other Wolverine series, especially Logan. If you liked Logan near the end of the series, then check out the Old Man Logan series, because that's the same type of character you'll get. There are also other Wolverine in the X-Men series that you could check out if you liked this one and you want to see more of him and the X-Men together. If you liked all of it, like I did, then definitely check out the Umbrella Academy. It is like kind of the same thing. There's a lot of similarities between them, so definitely check that out. So as much as I love the plotline and the world-saving adventures and high stakes that this series had, the very best part of the series was watching all the characters grow up. And I know that's so cheesy, but trust me on this. As someone who's about to graduate high school pretty soon, this series had a lot of the feelings that I'm feeling right now. It was very bittersweet, but it was also just so fun to watch these characters grow up and like find each other. I'm a sucker for the found family trope, and if you like that and if you like happy endings, please check this one out because it was definitely worth it. I really liked that they focused on literally every single character in this and how they felt about growing up. I thought that was really cool. Even Logan, the Wolverine, who's nearly 200 years old, still has some growing up to do. This was just as much a coming of age for him as it was for them. But the best part is that when all the characters grow up and graduate, their story isn't over. In fact, the last issue is probably my favorite, as it really captures the feeling of growing up and the lessons you learn along the way. Also, they fight a bunch of dinosaurs in this, and if that doesn't make you want to read this, I don't know what will.